What's up, world? It's your boy, Coach EV, aka EV the Geeker, and welcome to another episode of Talking Hoops in the Sip. That's right, Talking Hoops in the Sip, our first show of the 2023-24 season. And man, I am as excited as I can be because we got an explosive show for you today. And I'm telling you this, man, this is the beginning. We are starting out in the beginning. And so I'm going to get right to it. But before I do, let me give a shout out to my sponsor, Tatum and Wade Law Firm, located at 124 East Meat Street, right here in Jackson, Mississippi. They are serious lawyers who get serious results. You know what I say, if you want to get paid, you need to go to Tatum and Wade. Well, listen, we got I want to just say a few things. This year, I know a lot of times we've been doing the show now. This is coming up on our third year, and I'm excited about it. And but this year is definitely going to be our most consistent year. I'm no longer coaching, so I'm doing this full time. We're going to be doing this every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the share button, turn your notifications on, because it's going to be explosive this year. Like the show. All of that, feel free to comment, all those different things, because we're going to be on top of it all year. We're going to have special guests, kids coming on, coaches. So I'm excited about it. So tonight, again, we welcome in, and I truly believe we got the best co-hosts in the state. I believe that the guys that are on this show are the ones that have, when you combine all the knowledge and all the access to kids and different things like this, I think we're the top. I say this humbly. I think we are at the top of the thing. So we appreciate from Southern Sports Platform a young legend in this game right now on the media side. We welcome Talante Webb. What's up, T Webb?
What's up, EV? What's up, everybody? Like he said, welcome back to Talking Hoops in the Sip. This is year 3. Like he said, we're gearing up for a fantastic year. I think everybody will be more consistent this year. I got more time to actually dive in and do a lot more recruiting and write-ups and everything too this year. So I'm looking forward to a great year of basketball. I think it's going to be a very intriguing season. It's a lot of unknowns, and I'm just glad to be back and be a part of it.
And also then down there, we have at the bottom of the screen that I'm looking at, we have the elephant man himself, the guy who I really believe, I say this, I give him his flowers while he's here. I think he's done more for girls basketball and grassroots in the state of Mississippi than anyone that I know of. And he's been doing it for a long time. The guy behind Mississippi Play Sports, the easy one, even though I give him a hard time, he's taking his time away from feeding in the jungle this evening to come here. Eddie Young. What's up, the easy one, Eddie Young?
Man, listen, I was just telling the fellas before, man, you looking sharp today, boy. I'm telling you, man. I don't know. What was you, 29 years married? What was
years.
it? 29 years, brother. I'm going to have to holler at my girl a little bit and let her know, man. She got you, man, you looking good, man. I ain't going to lie. Hey, T, this the best he done looked in a while, ain't he? I mean, that joker got on his own. I don't know if he got the Halloween theme going or what, but he got the orange shirt with the black. What kind of shoes you got on? Got some orange shoes or black shoes?
I got the Steve Nashes on. You look them up. You know what the Steve Nash are. Steve Nash. You know what they are.
Hey, listen, man. I am glad to be back for another season. I can't believe this was the fastest 3 years that I can imagine, man. We've had a lot of fun covering girls basketball. And also being able to make some cameo appearances on the boys' side. I'm excited about this year. I think it's going to be a great year, like Talante alluded to earlier. Man, without further ado, man, let's get it going. I don't know if Cord has jumped back on, and now you want to get Cord introduction or shoes.
Cord and shoes, yeah, they're not on right now. They're going to be on a little. Shoes will be coming on later. Shoes. Shoes doing his own thing. We don't know what's going on with shoes. But anyway, I want to also, man, where my live chatters at, we got, the one guy, he always kind of be cracking jokes on us. We got to get him in. I think his name is Sam. We got to get him. He always, cracks jokes on me and shoes and stuff. So we got to get him we got to get him on the show, you know. So, but anyway, tonight we're gonna talk a little bit about, we're gonna have boys. We're gonna go over dandy dozens, the potential dandy dozens, and we're gonna go over the boys' potential, you know, our own version of dandy dozen. I want to say this, you know, from the jump. You know, I want to make this disclaimer. ED, Eric Vaughn, aka ED the Geeker, Coach ED, has nothing to do with the dandy dozen. So we're just giving you our thought process from who we think should be on the dandy dozen. So I don't want people to think that we made the list. You know, now Talante, he may have something to do with it. I'll let him speak for himself. T Webb, you got something to do with it?
Nah, I don't got nothing to do with it. I don't even know who's doing them this year. I think it's,
you know, obviously, you know, for those you don't know, the Dandy Dozen is something that the Clarion Ledger, one of Mississippi's oldest newspapers, has been doing for years, and it takes I don't know if it takes the 12 best players. I think a lot of times what they do is they take 12 top players returning, how they've done high school wise. I don't know if they always go on their, you know, the college recruiting. You know, I don't know exactly. I don't really know the criteria from it, but it's usually, you know, obviously we can say 12 very good players. We can safely say that. And I think this year, especially on, you know, we'll do the girls later. We'll start off with the boys. I think this year it's just a lot of wide open type, you know, names that we can have. And so, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then also talk about what we expect this upcoming year. It won't be that great, you know, long of a show. You know, we'll just go with the flow on that, and we'll have some teams that we're talking about next week. I want to even already get ready to start talking about next week. Next week, we'll split the shows up in two different formats. The boys, we'll have the boys come on with Shoes, Talante, Snacks, and myself, and we'll be dealing with the boys' high school team rankings, giving up our top 15, who we think is gonna be, you know, from, you know, who's gonna be the top 15 teams overall in the state of Mississippi. And then next, that'll be at 7 o'clock. And then next week, the girls, which we're gonna have the anticipated show with the Geeker girls rankings. This year, you know, as this is my second year doing the girls rankings, you know, taking over from, you know, the easy one, Eddie Young with Mississippi Play Sports. And, you know, for those of you who, I know there's a lot of people that don't like the rankings, or they don't like this, they don't like that, but tell you this, I would challenge anyone to go and, you know, rank 70 girls, 60 girls, 50 girls in each class. I mean, you know, have at it. I just want you to know it ain't nothing to play with. And, you know, it takes a lot of long hours, hard work, watching kids getting help from different scouts and high school coaches around the state. It's not something to play with. And we're going to do our best to try to have, you know, get those next week. And, you know, it's not about, and those of you who don't get, you know, when you know, and I'm going to write a article this week about this on my website. You know, when people talk about, man, how was I 50? I've had people ask me, how was I 58? Well, I want you to think about this in the context. You're 58 out of about 500 players in your class. If you think about it, it's 300 kids, 300 high school teams, private and public in the state. And if you finish, let's say you're a sophomore, there's probably 2 sophomores safely on each team on varsity. So that's 600 kids right there. So if you're at 50 in your 50s, if you're in my top 70, that means you're in the top 12 percentile, 12 to 15% in the state. I would say that's pretty good, you know. So before you, you know, jump on my case, and, you know, then I would I want you to think about those things. So and anyway, anybody that want to question me, let's get on the court. You know, even though I'm a little overweight right now, I still can outshoot anybody that listen to this podcast, and I've proven it time and time. So, you know, check my record. That's how I look at it. You know, I'm not one of these guys that ain't never played the game. So, but anyway, let's get going. T Webb, talk to me a little bit about, before we go into your potential dandies. Let's kind of do a little recap of the summer. What are some things that you saw this summer? And, you know, I know you've had you just had your deal yesterday, correct?
Nah, we ended up canceling. I didn't do it yesterday.
So you didn't, but you had your top 60 though. You did a top 60 at you scouted a top 60 at the Gatorade Fieldhouse.
Yeah, I went
Talk
up
to
and
us a,
I went up
talk
to
to us a little bit about
scout.
that.
Yeah, the scout courtroom hoops top 60. That was a pretty good event. They had a lot of kids from up north, North Mississippi, and the Memphis area. So they had a good mix of talent. I did get to see a lot of Mississippi kids, some guys we probably don't get to see a lot. Like Jax Wilson, Josiah. I can't think of his last name.
Josiah, I think it's Nelson from
Yeah,
little white point guard, can flat out. I love him. Really can run your team. I know exactly what you're talking about, Josiah.
yeah. Then you got like Caleb Hunt. I'm trying to think of some more names. Some DeSoto Central kids that we don't talk a lot about, but they're in Mississippi too at the top. Derek, is it? I think it's Jaden Fisher, not Derek Fisher. Jaden Fisher. They had a couple guys up there who could really play from Mississippi. They had a lot of good guys from the Memphis area too. That were really good. That was some D1, got some D1 potential. That event was pretty good. This was the second year they had it. They probably had I think it was about 65 kids there. So top 60, but it was 65 kids there. So it was a good mix of talent to get ready for basketball season. A lot of people don't put too much emphasis on camp ball, but you can see who's been working on their game. One thing you can see is who coming in shape. Because school ball starting tomorrow, so official practice starts tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting to see how those guys pick up. And this was my first time getting to see some of the DeSoto Central kids again, probably the second time from last year. I got them coming down to the Tip-Off Classic November the 11th. So it was interesting to see those guys, and they got a pretty good matchup at the Classic. So I was very intrigued with what I saw with those guys. As far as summer ball, I did get to see a lot of Mississippi guys play. I think we did pretty well. All in all, our talent is always spaced out across every platform from grassroots to Adidas to Nike. So I think we're in a good place. I still don't think we're where we need to be, but I think all in all, we're in a good place as far as development and competing at a national level. So if we can ever figure out everything and piece everything together the right way, and that's wishful thinking, if we could always get the top guys on one team, and not even the top guys, because I hate to say top guys, because I think you don't have to have the top guys to have a good team, but you got to have the right mix of guys to perform at a high level. So
I call it the best fit.
Yeah, the best fit. So I don't want to say the top guys, but I think all in all we did well. I think all the AAU programs from the state, they did what they need to do in terms of trying to provide exposure and development for the kids. So that's always a plus.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. It's unfortunate sometimes that it's the challenge, and it's a challenge that every state has, where you try to, because you have so many different different teams and different things like this. As we welcome in the legend, Shoes Johnson. What up, Shoes? Lavelle Shoes Johnson.
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Doing good, doing great there, buddy. We're gonna be, I shared this with your Shoes. We just kind of going over a recap of the summer, and you can jump in before we do our own, version of the Dandy Dozen, and one of the things that you can tell us, Shoes, because you've been here longer than you've been around longer than all of us, and as far as in the state, when we go to the Dandy, our own version, and like I said, me and Talante has already made the statement. We have nothing to do with the Dandies. Now, we don't know if you do, so you'll be able to have your own, we'll let you make your own statement, but, we don't have anything to do with the Dandy Dozen. And, but talk to us a little bit, Shoes. We'll just have you jump right on in. Talk to us about, recap the summer, what you saw this year, and also tell us what normally the criteria is for the Dandy Dozen and what it's been in the past.
Well, first off, with the summer, it was a good summer. I heard you guys just reference, how it would be nice to see the talent. The teams have most of the talent situated together for good runs. I think we've got a couple of teams that we have some teams that went out and played well. Um, the teams that we do have all went out and put guys in good positions to be seen, especially the older teams. We had Snacks team, we had OSAG, we had Mississippi United. You have the SR1 All Stars. Those are the teams that kind of have the older guys that really need the exposure. And they all went out and played and were seen. Then you have some teams from North Mississippi and South Mississippi that also get out. Outside of maybe OSAG, everybody else is kind of playing on a spread out grassroots level. OSAG is the only one that's kind of playing that was kind of playing this year on one of the more well-known circuits. So it's always a grind trying to put yourself in position to be in front of coaches. I think Snacks did a great job with his team. I think it just became it was tough for him to get marquee games because we being a new team. Mississippi United, they go to lower mid-level tournaments and they get seen. But all in all, the kids performed well. We had some kids went out and really performed well, got a chance to showcase themselves this summer. They played well. It was really, and then we had some, this year our older senior kids, none of them really hardly played that. We had some of our better seniors play a lot of ball out of state. And to me, that's the biggest thing that I would like to see us be able to get a grasp on, keeping our guys in state. But to do that, you kind of got to be able to have programs that they feel really good about. And with us only having one program, and they were, the one program that's kind of on the marquee circuit, the guys tend to float and get out about and play in different places. I would like to see if we could keep more of our guys at home. I've had in the past, I've had coaches call me about guys, and I say, man, I'm not trying to send guys out of state. I got to work with these coaches. I got to deal with these coaches. They'll call me about guys that's already playing with people. I'm like, I'm not steering these guys to out-of-state teams. But there was a lot of good activity. Guys really went out and helped themselves this summer. I think the two guys that probably helped themselves the most this summer were probably Avery Thomas and DeAndre Lewis. I think those two, DeAndre playing on the Nike circuit with Team Thad. He picked up all from Ryder, got some looks. I think he's really, as long as everything goes fine, grade wise and everything, he's gonna get a D1. He's gonna end up with something nice, And Avery really kind of helped himself playing with Team Carroll Premier on the Adidas circuit. So, it's hard to argue when they go out of state and play because, they do pick programs that'll put them in the limelight, but you just wish we had more programs here that they felt good about playing with that could put them in that situation. I think those two guys really helped themselves a lot this summer.
Well, let's jump. I'm glad you spoke about that, Shoes, because I think that's a topic that you can find on the girls and boys side. And you correct me again. I'm always gonna lean toward the veteran, and then Delonte the young. He's my young legend on the media side, and the thing that I found since I've been here since 2016, been back. And I was born and raised in Clarksville, Mississippi, so I'm a Mississippian at heart. And even though I've been gone for a long time and came back, the thing that I find most kids, girls and boys, don't really go. They don't go outside of a 6-hour radius to school. You can count on one hand the kids that go outside of that. So now when you talk about, and this is what I talk about when we talk about AAU, and it's such a, the challenge of this thing is this, and it's only when it comes to sports and local sports and different things like this, do you have people who are not as qualified as someone else who is handling the business. When we talk about life and as a doctor, we got a guy who has been to school, has proven. You know what I mean? Just anybody can't be a doctor. Anybody can't be Tunde Wade.
Right.
At Wade. At the law firm. You can't just go and say just because. See, I think, and to be honest with you, just because I stayed at a Holiday Inn, and just because I watched Perry Mason and Matlock, and I watched almost every episode of Law and Order, I'm not a lawyer. So and what happens is we have a lot of people and unfortunately in the sports realm, and this not just in Mississippi, this is all over, everywhere I've been, who have not really experienced, it's an experience. Like Shoes, I've known you for over 20 years. When I was out on the circuit with Blessed IJN and we were sponsored by Reebok and Sonny Vaccaro, you were in those rooms. You were writing for I call him the Penguin back at Hoop Report and all that. Hoop Scoop. That's right. You're the Hoop Report, the Hoop Scoop. What's my man, the Penguin? Clark Francis. So you've been doing this for a long time. Talante.
And I was out there coaching then. I was out
absolutely.
there. I saw you and we saw each other in Little Rock. I was with the Jackson Panthers. You were Blessed INJ. I was out coaching then also.
Right. And then you got Talante, who been in South Carolina and was over there working with Rick Lewis and working at USC Upstate. Is it Upstate, right? Was that right, Talante? So you're at the Division I level. So here's the thing, and that stuff matters. You got, on the girl side, Eddie has been doing things for a long time, has had kids go Division I. Cordarius Jones played a 2,000-point scorer in Hernando, went to Northwest. Countless kids have gone to school. That stuff matters. And so when you have, Mark Rowe, I give Mark his props. I've known Mark for a long time. Mark has been out there for a long time with OSAG. He was there with Omar Carter. So you have people, and this is not to dismiss anybody else. Snacks, one thing about Snacks, I can say about Snacks. Snacks was a manager for 5 years at Jackson State. That means he's got 5 years of Division I experience. And see, people don't understand just being a manager. Man, do you know how many coaches, have come from being a manager? You talk about that's going on to the NBA, and Brad Stevens and people like that, who've gone on to be, because they were around every day and they got a chance to see what a practice and what it takes to be a Division I athlete or college athlete. And so I think that's important when you start talking about grassroots and where you want to put your kids, where you put you entrust your kids.
Whose hand you putting them in?
Absolutely.
Whose hand you're putting them in?
That's exactly right. And so here's what we got to do. Let's just face it. Most of our kids are not, even though, like, we'll use DeAndre Lewis, for example. He's got a Ryder scholarship offer. Most people that's on this show would have to Google where Ryder is. Just being honest. They don't know what league. I've been doing it for a long time. I don't know exactly. I think they play in Manhattan's league. They play in the MAC.
With Manhattan and Iona, they're in that league.
Right. And just because this is what I do. They play in the other MAC. See, there's two MACs. There's the MAC and then the MAAC. And so
actually the MAC might be just a little higher level.
They absolutely. See, people don't even and this is not us tooting our own horn. People can say it, but this is just saying, here's what you have. So we have kids, it was great that he played with the team there, because I can say this. On the boys level, if you get an opportunity to play with the EYBL, you got to take advantage of it. It's nothing like it. On the boys. I can say this. I'm gonna say this though, you're right. It's nothing like it. You got to take advantage of it, but you got to be smart enough to know that if you get in a situation where you're not playing, you're better off going back to another level that you're going to play in. I agree with you.
As I always say, you can make money from anywhere but on the bench. You got to be on the court to get to the next level. That's
a great point. That is a great point, because at the end of the day, it is a great experience. And let's not trick ourselves. Experience is critical. Now on the girl side, the EYBL, the Under Armour, the Adidas, in my opinion, the EYBL girls, obviously, no question, is more talented than most the independent, but it's not at the same stature as the boys. Under Armour, it's got a bunch of big time girls programs. And then you have Adidas, and then now you have the Select 40. You have other leagues that are popping up. So it's a little different on the girl side, the Elite 40, Select 40, and
you got other leagues popping up. Like you had that, I don't know whether they were Puma, I forget what they were this year, but like Kyrie Hamilton plays with Louisiana Elite. They used to be on the Under Armour circuit, but they didn't play Under Armour this year. They played on the Puma or whatever circuit that is that they created this year. There's another circuit that popped up this year that was out there.
Yeah, you talking about the New Balance, but next year Puma,
the New Balance.
Actually, I think them and Puma teamed up for next year for this upcoming season. So them two gonna be
together.
together.
Something 30. It was something 30. They called it something 30. I think I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. So this year them and Puma, I think they teamed up. I think it's next 36 or something like that.
Yeah, next 30 or something. Yeah. And they played on that circuit, so that's a whole nother circuit that jumped out there this year.
Right. And so what you want to do is this. One of the things that's, and ignorance is only just means that you don't know something. Like choose, where you work, and I haven't worked there before, so I would be ignorant to a lot of things. You've been there for 30 years, so I can't come in there and even though I could probably come to your job right now and figure out some stuff, but I can't sit here and come to your job and be like, oh man, talking like I know it. I haven't been there. I haven't been there long enough. I have to learn. And so that's the thing that we have to have, because a lot of our kids, the one thing that's different than in Mississippi than most states, we have a very, very good junior college system, where you got 15 junior colleges. And even if you didn't, let's say you didn't play AAU, and you still played high school, it is one of the rare states in the country where you still could go to JUCO. Now, here's what I want to say about why AAU is still important. And this is what people have to understand. You're playing against kids who take basketball seriously, really seriously. And you are preparing yourself for college. I coached at Mississippi Valley on the women's side and the men's side. I coached at Jackson State on the men in the SWAC on both men's and women's. College coaches want to see what you do in AAU. People can dog AAU all they want, but at the end of the day, AAU is where the college coaches do the majority of their evaluation. Then they come back and see you play at high school. And so that's just where it is, because it's an all-star team. It's an elite team. That's what Valley was at. We were unfortunately at the bottom of the barrel in the SWAC on the girls' side. But at the end of the day, even at bottom of the barrel, there's most kids can't play at that bottom of the barrel at Division I level. It's just that's just the facts, And so there's a lot of kids who are playing this year in high school. This is going to be their last year playing organized ball unless they're going to play at the air base, and there's nothing wrong with that. We call it the air base here, Talante. That's why you look like that. Jackson, ain't that's what it is, shoes, the air base?
That's one of the best leagues in the country.
The city league, yeah. And it's some good, it's some good players there. But we just have to, like you said earlier, Talante and Shoes both, we got to get our kids to try to get, and again, the best fit. I do believe this. Now, and Shoes, correct me if I'm wrong, in your opinion. I believe the days of getting 8 elite players, let's say we got the 8 best players on a team, in my opinion, on one team, I'm of the moxie that we need to get 4 really good players and 4 really good role players that fit the team. I just don't believe, I think with parents and things that I see, I just don't see the kids, I'm open to You know, what you guys
I
think,
think
Talante?
I understand that mindset, EV. I understand that. I think the biggest thing about that is because so many of the top kids duplicate what they do. So it's hard to ask the four best wings to be on one team, and the two that aren't the two or three of them got to play behind the other one. It's hard to ask guys to do that. So that's why I do think there's room for more than one high level team. But so you still got to be able to get the upper level guys. And even if you ain't got the top 8, you need to have you want to have 8 of the top 20 on the team.
What do you say, Talante?
I mean, me personally, I think you only need if I'm getting the best of the best, I think I need 3 good guys, and like you said, probably about 4 or 5, just hustle guys that can go. Because you got to think, like you said, if we competing for minutes, just say I got 2 guards, like y'all said, they duplicating the same thing. If I got 2 guards who love to have the ball in their hand and score, how can they play together on the court at the same time? And then I got a big that wants to get his touches and a wing that want to get his touches. It's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So now you have those parents like my kid used to shooting probably, I'm gonna say 20, 25 shots at the high school level, at the high school team, because they're the best player on the team. So now you got to come in where you shooting, let's say 8 to 10. You know what I'm saying? So your numbers are cut drastically. You know what I'm saying? A lot of kids, even I was just talking to a guy I had set by an NBA player uncle who is agent yesterday at the game in Atlanta. You got to think, when you used to coming off from being the best player in high school, you won Mr. Basketball in your state 2 years in a row. So you got to think that type of stuff right there, it affects kids because you used to being the best. So a lot of kids now, and I know it's a new generation, but they can't process that where they have to share that, you know what I'm saying? I got to share the ball with these guys. So if I can't get those shots that I'm used to getting, it affects them. So I think if I got 3 good players, I think you can rotate the ball between 3 guys who used to being the man on their team versus if I got 8, that's just, it's not enough ball and everybody gonna be unhappy. So now you're gonna have the parents complain, the kids complaining, and then the 8 good people probably gonna turn into 3 anyway, because probably 4 of them gonna leave. You know what I'm saying? Right. They gone to a different team. They'll go play with.
I'm gonna say this.
Anybody.
I do think that is a chore to get everybody to buy in. I think it's possible though to get 8 really good players to buy in. And I'm gonna say this: Thad does it every year. Nobody gets all the shots on Thad's team. And he has a way of getting. He has a high-level team playing on EYBL circuit. Nobody gets a lot of shots on his team, and he gets those guys and he keeps those team guys together. But our kids in Mississippi are not built. You're right. I don't know if our kids are built for that, like that or for that. So it's a tough chore to get 8 or 9 guys to buy into sharing the ball. Nobody's going to average more than 12, 13, 14, 15 points. But I will say this: if you're playing on that level, it's not about how many shots you make, it's about how efficient you are. And it's guys, I wish we could get our guys to understand that you don't have to average 20 points and 20 shots to get coaches' attention and for coaches to know how good you are.
That's a great point, Shoes. If you really, I've done this time in the court. I want you to jump in here. I want to make this point. I've had guys over the years average 8 to 12 and get Division I scholarships. They really don't, because all day long, every day of the week. But what I've seen now is things have changed, and it's different on the boys' side, on the girls' side. Because when I did boys for years, I'm taking kids all over the country. Parents didn't even show up to the thing. Really, they didn't even come to the game like that, because I'm flying them to Orlando, and I'm paying. We're paying for everything. So it wasn't any. In 10 years, and I had a lot of high-level players. I had 3 NBA guys that played for me, and at the end of the day, nobody ever questioned me because I was spending so much money, getting them different places. So there wasn't a question. Man, I ain't getting much playing time. You played as much as as we allowed you to play. But now it's with social media and with everything being so out there, everything that you do, everybody wants to be the guy or the girl. And Cord, talk to us a little bit as a former talk to us a little bit about your experience. Here you are, the all-time leading scorer at Hernando, over 2,000 points, taking 20, 25 shots a game, and then how you had to go play with some people in Memphis, and now, you're just a guy. You just a guy.
I was just a shooter.
You're just a shooter, right?
Yeah.
And that makes a difference. See, here's the thing.
Yeah.
This is what people don't understand. There are people what I call volume shooters. So they get their points because they get a lot of shots. Now you talked about a key word, Shoes. Are you really legit like that when efficient? Because can you go 2 for 4? You only get 4 shots. Can you knock down your because if you go 2 for 4 from the 3, somebody could dub you a shooter because now you're at 50%. That's hard. And so now somebody's going to say, oh, we got to get him a few more shots. But if you're going 0 for 4 every time you go out and you average 25 in high school, it's a challenge. Talk to us. What did you do, Corey? How did you
manage
that?
It was tough sometimes. Sometimes I would leave that high power team, go play on the team. I knew I was gonna get my shots on sometimes. Because I was on teams, we talking about everybody with D1. And I'm on the team where I'm averaging 30 in high school, but on that team, I'm just a spot-up shooter. And that's all I'm not going to dribble, not going to do none of that stuff, you do in high school. I'm just going to spot up. And like you said, EV, I might get 4 or 5 shots, maybe. I'm going to say 4. And if I don't make none, they might not even come back on my side. So, but the kids ain't prepared for that. And some of them, they don't understand that process. See, back when I played, a lot of us played on the same team for years until we got to high school level. We kind of ventured off and did our own thing. We was high-powered players. Some come on the bench, some this and that. But we was getting grooming from 8 years old all the way up in the Bellevue program back in the day up here in Memphis. But it's different now. Because you got so many AAU teams, people got so many choices. So it's just a little different on that end. But I don't think people keeping enough teams together. So if you did have 8 Division Ones, that they cool, they real good friends, they could possibly would buy in and say, hey, Mom, I want to be on this team. This all. But then you start getting these parents involved, which we create a lot of these teams called recruiting. Now we're trying to piece players together, and sometimes it don't work. You end up like Talante said, the players you recruit, you might have the 3 best ones still. You put in the other ones off the B team. So,
yeah, and I think people have to understand this. It's okay to be what you call the B team, because I'll give you an example. Well, I had a kid that I coached on my team. I had 5 teams that I ran the program. I coached a 17 elite team. Well, on my second 17 team, I had kids that went. Grant Linedecker never played for me, maybe but once or twice. He was the star on my on the second team. Well, he ended up going to Butler University and played in two championship games. He didn't never play on the quote unquote top team, but he was the guy on the second team, and we were at the same tournament. And so, like, that stuff is important, and so people just, I think, have to get educated, about that process and what it is. And then we have to understand, man, everybody is not going to go D1. That's the other thing. Because here's another thing that I would say. If you are considered, if you're in high school right now and you have majority Division II scholarship offers or JUCO, chances are when you go JUCO, that's your level. Usually what I found in Mississippi, I know one guy since 2016 that I can think of, and it might be another one, that went to another level after he used JUCO to go to another level, and that was John Knight. John Knight was offered by Jackson State. I love John Knight. Played at Callaway High School. He was at Jackson. Jackson State was the only high school, I think, the only college that offered him that I know he could have gone to out of high school for sure. And when he left Southwest after 1 year, he went to Utah State. Utah State was in a league, what I call the Mountain West, which I call at that time, they were a 2-bid league. That's a
mid-major. That's a mid-major. That's a step up from that.
That's a mid-major plus, no question, versus low major. He was one of the few kids that I've seen that did that. I'll give you another kid who was recruited out of high school, had an offer to go to Jackson State, ended up going 2 years of JUCO. Jonas James, he was offered to go to Jackson State out of high school, ended up going to Pearl River for 2 years, had 2 very good years at Pearl River, graduated from Jackson State. So for me, my thought process is, you know, if that's where you are, and the goal to me is to go to a 4-year school. That's the goal. I was very fortunate to coach at JUCO for half a semester last year. I'm a JUCO product myself. I went to a 2-year school, but at the end of the day, I the goal is to get to a 4-year. And to me, I think that if you're a high school kid, I know you want to gamble on yourself sometime, but if you got a Division I offer or a Division II offer, NAIA, that's almost, you can argue that's going to be your level. What do you got? What do you say? What do you say, Talante Shoes?
I mean, I'm with you. I think most of the time that's going to be the level. We haven't seen a lot of guys increase their stock greatly, going JUCO. Usually you are kind of what you were coming out high school. Now you may increase your profile as far as you got more offers on that level. You might have more offers on that level.
Yeah.
You have more offers coming out, because after playing JUCO, you'll get more schools in the city. It's hard to get a lot of offers, especially for guards coming out of Mississippi. I mean, anywhere, guards a dime a dozen. Let's put it on the guards are a dime a dozen.
That's right.
We put out a lot of combo guards coming out of high school here in Mississippi. A lot of guards aren't really true points, but admit they're tweener guards that can score it, but they're not really true points. It's hard to get D1s, because most of the likelihood is they got somebody just like you in their backyard. They got somebody just like you in their backyard that they see 20 times more.
So Shoes, what'd you say about these parents that say, we're gonna hold out to the end of you got Division I offers to whatever school?
Man, you might want to take what you you might want to take what you got.
Yeah.
Because I always say this: go where you want it. Go where you want it, because they ain't gonna invest in you. You hold out, you take that late spring, late summer scholarship offer. Yeah, you know what you are? You're a practice player. You're a filler. They're gonna recruit over you next year. Now I ain't saying you can't go in there and work hard enough to get playing time and end up playing. But the road is that much harder. You didn't go where they really wanted you. When somebody offer you early, they willing to take you early, they want you. They're gonna invest in you. All these fans, everybody want to wait.
Man, it's crazy. I said it's crazy.
Everybody wants the next thing. We got a player in the state right now in this senior class. I'm not gonna call him name. He's getting low major offers. He is blowing off all the low major offers because he think he wants somehow. He want them calling. We got one right now. He trying to run low majors off. He don't even understand.
All right.
We got one on the girl side. We got one on the girl side too.
Yeah, and unfortunately, and that's the time when you have the people that's in your corner talking to you and advising you, because most parents, to be honest,
people are telling him he's being foolish. Now, I don't know about his parents. I don't know what his parents know or don't know. I know that his coach and other people around him are telling him different. He just is set in his mind that he wants something higher level, and he ain't trying to talk to these lower level folks. Yeah. He just got a certain mindset like that.
Hey, you need to tell him to hop on here after we get out the meeting, and we need to tell him, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, just looking around the state, I don't think nobody was putting up, you know what I'm saying, in these next couple of classes, was putting up like superb numbers like that last year to be picky. Waiting on no high major offers. I'm just saying, I could be wrong, but I don't even know who you're talking about. But if you got low major offers, that's probably. I mean, but this day and time, you can go to a low major, you can transfer up.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
It's the new JUCO.
So
you're exactly right, Delonte.
I mean, the game and change. Like I think 5-6 years ago, you know what I'm saying, if it was still the same in the recruiting world, I think every year we have a lot of low major, mid major guards in Mississippi. But you know, it's just different now. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to go. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all say where you want it, but at the same time, you got to go where you fit also. And if I can go to a low major and put up good numbers, everybody been transferring up to high majors because those high major guards who going to the pros and overseas and stuff, they leaving. So you know what I'm saying? They're not recruiting high school kids, so they just gonna get you out the low major program, low major, mid major. So you might can go to a Duke or Kentucky if you had great numbers at a low major school the year before as a freshman or something.
Miss took a kid from NAI Loyola last year.
Nah, I believe it. It's real. That's realistic.
Last year's team at Ole Miss had a kid that was on that national championship team at Loyola, NAI. And he transferred up to Ole Miss last year and played.
Yeah, I just think kids now they got it stuck in their head that if you don't go D1, you're not good. I mean, a lot of these guys probably couldn't be NAIA guys, D2 guys, if you go in the gym with them and play, because they're just as good as, you know what I'm saying, guys who went D1. You know, so it's tough at every level. So it's not like guys
and a lot of it isn't even about how talented you are. It's about size, it's about strength, it's about all of it. It's a lot of things that go into your recruitability.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You're exactly right. And that's the thing. Here's the other thing. We got this thing called it's TP out here, and it's called the transfer portal. And when I was coaching at Valley, I was the recruiting coordinator. I offered everybody knows I offered every girl almost in the state. And what was crazy is, I was throwing out offers like they was left and right. And because it was Valley, a lot of people didn't even really take that seriously. But here's the thing, my thought process was always this, and I was doing it for another reason too. I was trying to get Valley on the map from a social media standpoint. But my thought process was this: if you as a high school kid don't commit early, we're moving on from you, because I'm gonna go get me a transfer kid, especially this day of time, that maybe only averaged 3 points a game. But here's what she did, or he did. He's gone through a full year of college level practice. So at least I know he can make it through a year. This is now the hardest time to recruit high school kids ever, because kids, they're not being forced to, they're being allowed to quit. They're being allowed to transfer. Like shoes, when we were growing up, we're the only ones in our 50s here. At the end of the day, and I know you fit to be 60, at the end of the day, we were not allowed to quit anything. Once we started it, we had to finish. And so now we have kids who are allowed to just quit at the drop of a hat. And it's like, so now I don't know if that kid, when they come, because of this thing right here, the phone, the smartphone, are they going to, man, I just don't love basketball anymore. I just want to do this. I want to be a YouTube star. I want to be a TikTok sensation. And it's okay, because if you're going and making money and doing things like that, I get it. I ain't tripping, man. No more power to you. But you have, like, for example, the Cavender twins. They started out in Fresno State, the girls, the twins. Well, they were one of, with this NIL stuff, man, they making millions of dollars. They just decided earlier to stop. They had another year of basketball left. They went and signed with the WWE. Now, the better one is coming back, and she put herself in the transfer portal to play one more year. But at the end of the day, who can blame them? They're making they are known more for their Instagram followers than what they did on the basketball. And so you have so much of that going on that happens, that dynamic. And so now you have to ask yourself, am I going to take the time? Does this kid like basketball, or do they love basketball? And I think that is the hardest thing to determine as you're recruiting kids these days, even on the girls and boys side. And so that's the challenge. And I wanted to say this: the only girls that I know, we was talking about levels coming out of high school. I do know 2 girls recently on the girls' side that wasn't recruited as a high major out of high school or didn't have high major offers that did go to JUCO and leveled up, as they would say. Carly Keats did it from Jones. She ended up going to Arkansas, and Melanie Timms, who was the former Jackson State signing, ended up going to Mississippi State.
Jacayla Johnson too.
And who?
Jacayla Johnson, right?
Well, Jacayla Johnson. Yeah, she did, no question. And part of hers was injury, but she did. She went to Auburn, and she's now back at ULM. And see, here's the other thing I say too. I think the one thing, even when we talk about levels, and me and Coach, we talk about this all the time. And I'll just use her for an example. India Bowen, who I had ranked as my number 2 player in the 2023 class. There's no question in my mind she could play at Ole Miss or Mississippi State, but she's at Southeast Missouri State. In my opinion, that's her best fit. She's going to go there, and the coach basically said, and when the coach said this, that she has a chance to be legendary. If a head coach is telling you that you can be legendary, you can be like that means something to me. Versus, does she go to the high major, which is high major, and then be a role player? Or do you go somewhere where you can potentially keep doing what you do in high school? And that's a whole nother debate that we have. Madison Booker, her best fit is Texas. She's a pro. We didn't even really, I don't know if we understood as a state, as a whole, how good Madison Booker. I don't know if we appreciated the greatness of Madison Booker. All of her high school games should have been sold out. Like, it should have been like her jersey should be retired. I mean, that's just what I feel. She's already been voted preseason freshman of the year. Her coach has said, Vic Schaefer, who was a former Mississippi State coach, has said she's gonna be legendary. So when I put the two people up together, I personally think they're playing at the proper level that they are, where they can come and dominate the quickest.
Let me throw a kicker in there though, EV.
Okay,
they're gonna give me $10,000 NIL to go to Ole Miss.
That's a different. That's a different.
I'm talking about $10,000 to be coming out the bench. I'm coming out the bench. I'm getting 10,000. Somebody said, "Hey, we're gonna at this car lot or whatever. We're gonna sponsor you 10,000. You're gonna do a commercial. You get $10,000 for the year. We want you to come to Ole Miss to sit on the bench as an 8, 9 player. What'd you do?"
I got to take a look at that. Because 10,000 a year, that's 40 grand. So I got at least that. I gotta have that. I'm open to that conversation. Now,
but you go play up, like you said, at a mid major. You might get 50,000 after your freshman year, averaging 10 or whatever. Freshman conference player, freshman player of the year or whatever. Now you go to Ole Miss, you get 50,000. And I'm just using Ole Miss. I'm not saying Ole Miss doing type, but
Right. I understand.
That ain't a lot of money to change the game. That ain't a lot of money does change the game. But
Absolutely.
I wish more, especially on the boys' side, I wish more guys paid attention to best fit, paid attention to what they could really be successful at, as opposed to chasing high major, high level offers to go be on the bench or be a role player.
I'm not gonna name the school, but I pretty much know this. There's a Big Ten school that if you're on the team this year, the majority of the players are getting 100,000 a piece. That's life-changing money. Hey. I don't care if I'm the 15th man making 100 grand.
Hey, I just need.
Who is this? What school is this, EV? What school is 100 grand a piece?
I can't put it out there. I can't give you that.
Talante, you gonna let this man say that 100 grand a piece?
And that's what I've been told. So
I'm gonna tell you now. I ain't getting there. Everybody ain't worth 100 grand. So if you got 15, it's probably on every team. Probably 3 people worth 100 grand, maybe 2 max. Everybody ain't getting 100. Somebody might be getting about 5 or 10. They might be getting everybody about 5 or 10.
3,000 for appearance.
You got to think how many max players on the NBA team.
Man, woo.
There's only
man.
one. Yeah. And so I don't know if that, like, that's why I didn't name it, because I didn't, but I was told that by a pretty reliable source. And so, but let's say I would definitely say, maybe let's say the first 7 is, because, think about it, that's $700,000 and people got plenty of money.
That's a lot of
So
money.
here's the thing. If I'm in that top 7, and I do know that one of the players is getting over $1 million. So I know that. So at the end of the day, there's money out there. This ain't, it's plenty of, people been throwing around money for a long time. Now it's just legal to do it, and so here it is. You're getting that type of money. Now that, if you're in that conversation for it, like you talked about, yes, I'm taking, now I got to consider the 10, I got to consider.
I got to go.
You got to
Right.
go. I'm picking up bags. What we got going on?
I ain't got to consider. I got to go. And guys, I'm finna say this. Let's not act like NLI now makes it legal to do that. Let's not act like that ain't been going on all the time, where guys been going to schools and riding the bench, but they got paid to be there. It's been going on with these high majors. When it was illegal to do it, they were paying guys. We know they were paying guys to be illegal. It's guys that got paid that went to school and didn't really play. It was happening back in there. It was happening that way before it was legal to do an NIL. It was guys getting the bag because they coming out of high school. They was it. They got there and they never really played, but they were getting the bag to get there. So that's just a continuation of what's really been going on for some time.
Right. Well, man, one thing I don't have tonight is, where are my live chatters at, man? I don't.
Hey, look. They said we need to start talking about these lists we was supposed to be talking about. They said,
is that what it? Do you see the live chatters, Talante?
Nah, I ain't looking at it. I'm just saying.
Man, them folks said, come on with the money. They want to hear it, but they want to get riled up then.
Yeah, you know how it is, man. We I mean, you get talking about basketball. Well, I do want to say this. I do see somebody, little Kobe, put on here, say Corey Guyton, sophomore guard out of Kosciuszko, is pretty good. So we wanted to, hey, you get yourself on a live chat, we'll throw you a shout out. I don't personally know Corey Guyton, but little Kobe seems to think that Corey Guyton. But anyway, let's look at these boys. Here's what we got, and we said this earlier. Shoes never said anything, so Shoes must have some. We don't have, like I said, we don't have anything to do with the boys. Dandy doesn't. At least like I said, I don't have anything to do with it.
I don't pick the Dandy dozen. Y'all need to understand. I don't pick Dandy dozen. That's a clearing ledger. That's a clearing ledger deal. I don't pick the Dandy. I'm like you, EB. I don't pick the Dandy dozen.
Tell me this, Shoes, though. You do know this. What is usually the criteria in the past? What has that been?
I've dealt with it in the past. I dealt with it, lately they got a lot. They were going through changes with the guys who doing it. The last few years, the Clan Legend has been had reporters coming in and out, so I haven't really been involved with it. I'll admit I was involved at times in the past. I always say this: should they call me and say, Shoes, give us your 12, it's gonna be the Dandy Dozen? I didn't pick the Dandy Dozen. I might have had a vote. I didn't pick it. But I was involved in the past. That's the hardest. The basketball Dandy Dozen is the hardest thing to put a true criteria on. It's just kind of the 12 best. Well, the 12 best are what you think of the 12 best high school players. I've always felt like the Dandy Dozen was the 12 best high school players, not the 12 best prospects. Now that in football, the guys that did football leaned on the colleges a lot to see what the recruiting was, and used that a lot on there to pick their Dandy Dozen. But basketball has never really leaned on, and basketball has never got the recruiting numbers that football has. So I feel like basketball has always been more or less kind of trying to identify 12 best high school players.
Gotcha. So and so that's kind of what I thought. The best 12 high school players. not necessarily the 12 best players per se. You know, I guess they had the best. They had the best high school stats.
Not the best prospects, not the best prospects,
Right.
the best players, the best players here, the most impactful high school players.
Okay, with that being said, let's start with you, Talante. Tell us who are some of the people you, in your opinion, this year that would be, that you think that may have a chance to be on that Danny Dozen list.
I came up with some quick ones. These just people that I think, from I seen them play last year. I looked at the numbers for their classes, for people in the state. And of course, like the name that pop off the top, of course, EJ Pavement is number one. That's number one pick if I got to put on my list. I do know, I don't think I know EJ is the best, probably the best player in the state this year. His body has improved. His game has improved. I watched him this summer. He looks really good. So I know he's going to perform as the best player this year. Then a couple other names. The two kids from Yazoo City. You got Demarion Winston, Tamarion Hoover. I think those guys are deserving. They both won the championship last year. Both of those guys are really, really good. I got to see them up close and personal at some tournaments this summer with Mississippi All-In. I think both of those guys are deserving. So that's three. I think Cam Brown should be on there. I think Cam is one of the best guards in the state, one of the best, probably pure scorers, great teammate. He had good numbers last year. I think he averaged 20 plus last year over at Port Gibson. Then a name coming from the private school, Trey Alexander. I think Trey Alexander should be on there too. He's going to be at Clinton this year. Trey is another guard that's really, really good, in my opinion. Then another private school guy. I think Brewer Caruth deserves to be on there. I think Brewer probably had one of the best summers. Just looking around on social media, watching them, I think Brewer's really consistent. He just committed to go to Southern Miss and play, so I definitely think Brewer deserves a spot. Then another name, I was just searching, Austin, I think it's Austin Ratliff. I think he was at what school was he at last year?
He was at Hartsfield.
He was at Hartsfield. I think he's really, really good. I've seen him a few times. I think he's really good. I think he's deserving. He put up some good numbers. He's going to be one of the better forwards and bigs in the state this year. Then where I'm at. Then I got Demetrius Duffy, who was over at Saltillo last year. He averaged 23 points and 12 rebounds a game. Those are really good numbers. If you look around the state, I don't know how many other people put up numbers like that. I think they got beat in the second round of the playoffs last year. But he's a man amongst boys. He'll be really good for Tupelo this year in the 7A region. So he's going to be really good in that region. I expect him to do the same, if not better, this year. So I think he's deserving of a spot. Then you got Kedrick Simmons from Boonville. He averaged like 17 points, 6 rebounds, MVP for the 3A state championship team, best player. So I think he's deserving of a spot on there as well. Then you got Sam Funches. I think Sam averaged like 16 plus last year as well. So I think Sam deserves a spot on there. And then where am I at? I think I got 2 more spots. I'll go Dorian McMillan. I think he has to put up a big year this year, as his last year as a senior year, and then DeAndre Lewis at Canton. So those are my 12 if I had to pick.
All right. So let me see if you got 12. Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's like I got 10, Delonte. Let me count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. Oh, 11, 12. I sure didn't. Yep, those are your 12. You got. I missed 2. Gotcha. Shoes, talk to me. Who you got, baby?
All right. Well, off the top of my head, I always play with this stuff all through the summer in case they call me, and I got a lot of the same guys Delonte got, but I got a few different ones. You know, of course, EJ and Dorian are my top 2 players in the senior class, so they're gonna be there. I got Avery Thomas making it this year. Avery Thomas from Terry. The 2 kids from Yazoo City, and DeAndre Lewis. That gives me 6. I like the kid at Oxford, DJ. What's DJ last name? Jeremiah
Davis, DJ
Davis.
Davis.
I like DJ. That's 7. I got Brewer on now, so Brewer's really earned his way on with the summer and with his Southern Miss offer. I got Duffy and Simmons from Boonville. Duffy and Simmons from Boonville. Cam Brown that makes my list also. I'm forgetting who I had my other spot. I'm trying to make sure before I give it to this person I'm thinking about giving it to, because at one time I had a list. I'm trying to think of somebody I'm forgetting. There's an upperclassman that I was thinking about that I was planning on giving it to. But if all else fails, Sam Funches.
Well, that's no, you got 10 right now. You got EJ, Dorian McMillan, Brewer Caruth, Avery, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah.
All right, let's go back again. EJ and Avery. I mean EJ and Dorian. EJ and Dorian.
Yeah.
EJ and Dorian. Avery Thomas. I can't hear you.
Okay. You got EJ,
Dorian,
Brewer, Caruth, Avery Thomas. That's 4. Kedrick Simmons is 5. Hoover and Winston is 7. DeAndre Lewis is 8. Cameron Brown is 9. Duffy is 10. And DJ Davis is 11. And then you got Sam Funches.
Yeah.
Is that who it is? Okay. All right. Let me give y'all my list.
I'm getting somebody that I like.
Hold on, Shu.
Somebody I like.
What about Ashton McGee? Did you say Ashton McGee?
No, I didn't say Ashton. Ashton's gonna make my damn list. And I like Ashton. He's my number 1 junior prospect. But his numbers last year weren't blown away. But, I'm the guys who, to me, I'm gonna go with guys who were more productive last year. More productive, coming out more productive years. Everybody on that list had really good, high productive years.
Well, here's my guys. These are the guys I'm gonna say. I call them just missed my list. These are the just missed EVs Danny does.
I'm forgetting somebody. I'm forgetting somebody that I got to go. And I don't have my list in front of me that I got on my computer. And I know it's another senior guard, another senior that I like a lot that I had on my list that I was considering, but I can't remember who it was.
Well, here's my list. These are my just missed it. Trey Alexander coming over from Clinton Christian. Love Trey. Just missed my list. I mean, he's had a great 4 years. And my thing is, when I look at, I'm looking at the kind of the total package as well. It's what they did, and and longevity means something. Jamarian Davis, he just missed my list. The 6'8" kid from Canton. Cameron Brown just missed my list. I know that he made y'all list, and I like Cam. I think Cam has been a 4-year, like a 4-year starter. 2 of them was at Vicksburg, and then the last 2 at Port Gibson. Had a really good year. And then I know this is gonna surprise you, but he just missed my list. But I give him a lot of credit. JJ Watkins, little JJ. I just like what he's done at Provine for 4 years. He's been, he came off the bench as a freshman. And he's been steady, and Provine has a chance to get to the championship. They went to the championship last year, and he was a big key. So my 12 is EJ Payment, obviously from Raymond, 6'9" lefty. We all talked about it. It's just simple. He's had and I think he's continued to get better. Dorian McMillan. I've always liked Dorian from Pascagoula. I'm been a big fan of Dorian since when I first saw him at the Talkin Hoops in the SIP showcase, his freshman year. Brewer Caruth, like Delonte said, has had a phenomenal, just a phenomenal summer. He just continued to get better playing with Alex Ainsworth up at Park Lane Christian. No-brainer offer to me to Southern. I think he is a great fit. I know his brother plays football there. I'm a big fan of Brewer Caruth. He's continued to get better at 6'4", 6'5", a true scoring guard. Avery Thomas, he gets on my list because, he did have a phenomenal summer, 6'7" kid. Now, he didn't necessarily put up the numbers last year at Terry, but he did have a phenomenal summer, and he makes the list for me. I do have Ashton McGee on my list from MRA because I think he's a big piece of MRA last year with obviously with Josh Hubbard, being the all-time leading scorer. Mississippi, Ashton did average a double-double. And I thought, or he was very close to a double-double. If he didn't average it, he was real close. At 10 and 10, he makes my list. Kedrick Simmons, from 6'6" kid from Boonville, never seen him play other than the state championship game. And, you can't argue with, the stuff he's gotten done. Sam Funches, I'm just going down a list that I've written it down. Sam Funches is a potential pro, and he made Germantown boys relevant. I mean, we're talking about Germantown boys because of Sam Funches, 6'10", Chris Bosh type kid. Both of the boys from the Zoo, Yazoo City, Tamarian Hoover and Demarion Winston, playing for the young legendary coach Carlisle, going after his 100th state championship. I think Carlisle, what's impressive with Carlisle, I think he's won 6, and I think he's 6-0, and he's won at every level. So, you're talking about one of the top coaches in the country right here in Mississippi. And I want to just say that publicly, Carlisle, I consider him, I've happened to live all across the country. He's one of the top, along with Tony Tadlock at Raymond. Tony Tadlock, just to throw them in, to go to 8, however many state championships ever since he's been there, that, even though he hasn't won all of them, that's a tribute to. The other kid I would have on there, DeAndre Lewis, 6'4" kid from Canton. I think he's really good. And I think that, he's a Division I kid, combo guard, can play a little 1, play a little 2. He's going to be good. Now, here's a kid that rounds out another kid. I'm with you guys on Demetrius Duffy, 23-12 from Saltillo. Now he's over at Tupelo. I think Demetrius Duffy's going to have a great year for, Tupelo. But here's my 12th guy that I would have on there. Is a kid from Clinton, 6'3". He's been, he played on 2 state championship teams. He was very important for them. Corey Hamilton. Corey Hamilton, for me, put up good numbers last year for Clinton. A defensive guy, even though he can, he had to do a little bit more scoring last year. And I think Clinton's going to be really good this year. And he got kind of edged out Trey Alexander for me, probably for my, they were right there. And so Corey Hamilton that's my 12. So, at the end of the day, I think, for the most part, I think we were, there was a couple people.
Most of them.
Yeah, there was a couple that we were just pretty much all solid on. So I think it's going to be very interesting this year. And I'm excited to see the year play out, to be honest with you. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting year. And we got our guy in, just came in, late addition to the show. Thomas Snacks Lee, the ESPN ESPY Award winner. What up, Snacks?
What up, EV? You doing all right?
Doing great, man. Listen, do you have 12? We can't
you
let you.
Eddie Young's voice a minute ago too.
Huh?
Didn't I hear Eddie Young's voice a minute ago too?
Oh yeah, Eddie's getting ready, man. Eddie's getting ready to be in
Like
here.
you ain't gonna introduce Eddie. I know y'all don't get along all the time.
No, you. Hey, Shoe, buddy, Shoe. You were already late, man. I already introduced. Eddie was on early when you kind of came in a little after the show. We already introduced him.
Anything. I never saw.
Eddie gonna be back because we getting ready to do the girls. Eddie, Eddie had to go to feeding. It's feeding time right here. Usually elephants feed.
I knew you weren't gonna miss that. I knew you weren't gonna miss that.
Snacks, you got your 12, man. You got 12. That You got
Yeah,
12?
I got 12.
Okay, talk to us.
Of course, I got EJ Payman. I got Dorian. I got Spankin Winston from Yazoo. Tay Tay from Canton. Duffy. I got a wild card with that I'm gonna say though. I don't know if y'all gonna agree with me on this one though. I say the kid from Big Bird, Davion, to earn my respect though. Every time I seen him, he been super solid.
That's the other season. That's the other. I'm saying it was somebody I was forgetting. Davion is the other kid I was considering.
You talking about the little guard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other season that kept
I
in my mind.
had looked at him. Yeah, he deserved enough. I had looked at him. He was definitely on my short list for
Yeah, I
sure.
think every time I've seen him pretty much play in the quality games, he's always been real solid across the board. So what number I'm in now, EB?
I think you're at 6.
I gotta go. I include Trey Alexander,
Okay.
DJ Davis.
Okay.
I go Brewer Carew. What number I'm in now?
I think 6 + 2 is 8.
I like to have juniors and young guys on there, so I'm always do that. I say Sam. I put Sam and Jamal on there.
Now, Jamarian Davis.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I'm left with one. Man, I can't do JPS like that, man. But
Now, let me ask you this: Do you have the 2 boys from Yazoo City?
I already said them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I already said the 2 guys.
Did you say Dorian McMillan or not?
Yeah, I said those.
Okay.
See, that's why I was asking about my number, EV. I think you didn't start counting until I got to about 4 or 5.
Yeah, I did in my head, but let me make sure. Let me get. You said EJ, Dorian, Brewer Carew, Sam Funches, the two Yazoo City kids, Jamarian Davis,
He said
DJ Davis, and
DJ
Davion.
Davis.
So
You got Brewer Carew on there, right? Too, right?
Yeah. So
he said Tay.
I got
Tay
Norm
Tay.
Smith on. I got Norm
Is
Smith
Tay
on there.
DeAndre Lewis?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tay DeAndre Lewis.
Okay. So let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You got 11.
Last one. I'm gonna go with Keith. I'm gonna go with Keith.
Kedrick Simmons?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's your 12.
That ain't too bad of a list.
No, that ain't too bad. Like, no, you can't I can't argue with that. And so I think
I'm gonna say this. Let me see. Some years ago, the Danny Dove came out, and the coach called me, and he was like, he had a player that he really thought should have been there. He really wanted to be there. And he was just going, he was saying, man, I just don't think it's 12 better players in the state, this and that. And I was like, well, coach, I said, coach, I'm not saying your player wasn't good enough to be there. I'm saying, I kind of look at the Danny Dozen like this. I look to see the 12 players that got picked all have the credentials to be there. Because it's going to be some 2 or 3 guys that got the credentials to be there that didn't make it. So if it's all 12 that they picked got the credentials to be there, I'm pretty much fine with it. I'm pretty much not going to criticize them, nothing negative to say about it, because they all, you kind of know what guys kind of got the credentials or kind of got a leg to stand on to be there. And it's going to always be 1 or 2 guys that didn't make it. So long as they don't have bad misses, I don't really have nothing negative to say about them. I'm not going to criticize who didn't make it. I fuss about who didn't make it. Say, oh man, this guy should have been there. As long as they got the 12 guys that I think have credentials to be there. I think that's one way to look at this thing, And there's always more than 12 guys that got credentials to be there.
Let me ask y'all this. This is all basketball people on the panel. So, do you think making the playoffs should be a basic criteria for being a Danny Dozen? Do you think you should make the playoffs? You don't
I
think
don't
so?
think it should be, but I think it should carry, helping your team in should carry weight. How much you contribute to your team's success should carry weight. I don't think that necessarily. I mean, sometimes the guys on the team just ain't that good. Like we all picking Sam this year. Sam them wasn't that good, but we know Sam Hutchins maybe is probably the top potential prospect in the state overall.
I mean, Sam he play on the USA team. I mean, it's kind of like a
okay then. Like I said, then it can't be mandatory, but it should be consideration.
Yeah, but then he a freshman too, so you know what I'm saying. If you put up 16 plus a freshman, that's pretty.
Yeah, I mean,
that's pretty good.
He had a big season for a freshman, of course. So that's what I'm saying. To say that anything is mandatory kind of pigeonholes you. You just kind of got to look at like he said, the grand picture, production, team success, other accolades, summer activity. You just kind of got to take it all and mesh it into one. To me, that's how it works.
Hey, Sue, we're gonna have some other candidates that's you got to make some alterations to the ranking list too, because that 26 and 25 gonna have some guys that gonna be in your top 5
The list is always flux. It's gonna move. It's gonna change, guys.
I ain't talking about guys that's already been here. I'm talking about guys that moved to the state.
Well, yeah. You're right. I know what you're referring to. We gonna see.
Who moved in? Go on, put them on the spot. Then they're gonna be like that.
Who moved in?
He talking about the Williams boys.
The Williams boys.
From where?
They at Jackson Academy.
Mo Williams to the Jackson Academy.
Okay, I thought they were. So I was under the impression they was gonna be at Germantown. So they went to JJ.
You went to J.
JA got some pretty decent players over there this year.
They gonna be pretty decent this year.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I say this, fellas. I say we need to put out a geekers Danny Dozen, girls and boys, man. When the list come out, we gotta drop the geekers.
I put that.
Yeah, we gotta have. I don't like to bite off the Danny. We gotta have something else.
The Talkin hoops in the SIP.
Yeah.
The four of us will do our votes, and we'll hit the top 12 votes, and then you, Eddie, and EV do the girls, and y'all pick the top 12 votes.
Cause they gonna miss some kids that y'all put in. Like, I'm gonna be honest, all of y'all put in one of my favorite Duffy, right? Do you think in the writer's eyes down there, you think he's gonna have enough clout to be on there? I don't know.
Who?
He should.
You talking about Duffy? No clout.
No, I'm saying you know how they kind of
be in the eyes of these guys down here.
The eyes down there, the writers.
Are these clarinet guys gonna really know about it?
That's a great question, Corey. It ain't just like Talkin. That ain't just like no giving. Cause like
I mean, but somebody said it was about selling newspapers. Nobody buys newspapers anyway. So you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody finna buy no newspaper to see nobody. They might go pay that $1 subscription online for that month just to look at it. But 9 times out of 10, they're gonna text us and ask us, have we seen the list? So ain't nobody buying it anyway.
And they're gonna be screenshotting and all like that and putting it out. So but let's move right along. I was wondering where the easy one. I texted him to see if he's through feeding. We're gonna flip right into the girls' court. Talk to us. It's your turn. Girls, Danny Dozen.
Hey, I got 9 lock, and I'm gonna have a list of. I'm gonna have a list. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have a list because we got a lot of debatable ones. We didn't talk about this.
Yes,
the
sir.
9 lock, in my opinion, is Naja Carey from Harrison Central, 6'4" wing. High level prospect. Got Jay Rucker, 6'1", wing forward from Tupelo. Tootie Lockett from she at Starville, right? Starville combo.
Yeah.
Killer, can score buckets. Nicole Satterford, one of my favorites. She absolutely went to work this summer. If a lot of people don't know who Nicole Satterford is, she a D1 kid, just committed to Grambling from McGee. She really, really good. You know, so I got her. I got Macy Pfeiffer from Ingomar that should have been on the list last year. They got several D1 offers, mid-major offers. Got 2 state titles. Should be on the list. Shouldn't even be no question.
Right.
Taylor Felton been on the list every year since 9th grade. Numbers got better every year, so she just keep on moving that train forward from Clinton. Sanaa Cook is a lot. Talking about 3A from Boonville. Sanaa Cook 6'2", won the state championship at Boonville. Got several offers. She deserved to be on there. She 3A player of the year last year.
Miss Basketball.
Miss Basketball. Alana Rouser should have been on the list last year from Germantown. 6'1", was she committed to
Florida Atlantic.
D1 prospect. And I had 8, but I had I said I gotta put my girl on it. Demaya Porter is a lock as well from Boyd Chitter that just committed to Southern. So you got 1, 2. I think everybody on this list D1 players. There's all 9 is D1 players. We almost gonna say they're gonna play Division I basketball. Because Nicole Satterford is going to Grambling. Well, Tootie, we don't know. You know, I think she's a D1 player, but I don't know if she has the offers. Anaja Carey gonna go D1 J. Rucker, Macy Pfeiffer, Taylor Felton already committed to Louisiana Monroe. Sanaa Cook, Alana Rouse, and Maya Porter. Now for my also could be on the list, you got 3 left.
But you gave me 9, Corey. We need 3 more.
No. You've been doing me like that, EV. No, sir. Because it could be several ties now. I ain't doing it.
So you only give me 9.
I'm giving you 9 locks, and I'm gonna give you a list of people I think could be in them 3 spots. Is that cool?
Okay, good. All right. So you give me 9 locks.
I'm giving you 9 locks.
Okay.
9 that supposed to be. I don't care who what we talking about. 9 locks.
I wouldn't ever take Cordarius to the casino with me, man. That man gonna play safe, sit over there and play the $2 the penny machine.
And gonna drink the margaritas. And gonna drink the margaritas. Man, listen. Okay, listen. You want me to do 12? I'm gonna do 12. Okay, let me go ahead and put a couple more in there. 10. I put Kamaya Griffin from South Panola. I'm gonna get a senior. You know, I said it for 3 years. I get seniors love. She got the numbers. She averaged like 18 to 10 last year. She got the numbers. The team was good. Me personally now, I know I'm a kid. Folks gonna try to chop my head off of this. Carly Brock. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead. We on the show. We live. Carly Brock from Belmont. I feel like she made an appearance in the state championship ever since she's been in there. I just think she should be on the list. Now, this is my dark horse in this. I might be biased towards this, but this is my dark horse. You know what? Yeah, this is my dark horse. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put Angel Mitchell in there. I'm going to give her some love. I'm going to give Angel Mitchell some love for Holmes County Central. She's a senior. She's a combo guard. She's probably one of the best JUCO prospects we got. You know, I won't say because she got hired. Well, one of them players is just, she should be a Division I prospect, but I think folks passing up on. Let me say that. Folks miss what I'm saying right there. She should be a Division I player all day long.
That's right. I agree with you, Corey. She's a Division I prospect, and they not doing a good job of giving her what she deserves.
Yeah. So I think other kids now, you got Carly Robinson, that was a 7th grader last year, that had the numbers on Madison Central. You got the Z Williams girl from Biloxi? Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
8th grader got every offer in America. She probably an argument she should be on the list. Fran Kelly from that was at Horn Lake last year, now Hernando. Nadia Norfleet, which I would feel like she should be on there. I feel like Tupelo should get 2. Nyla Hooten, she had Northwest ranking this year. And Sanaya Fun.
How about JoJo?
JoJo Wilson, yes, she right here. I'm looking at her. I had the name right here with Carly. JoJo could easily take Carly's spot on that list. You know what I'm saying? I just went with Carly because I think she's been to the state championship more than JoJo. So Wilson, don't be mad at me. But all right, that's it.
Easy one. Who you got?
Hey, shut up, Nick. Shut up. Don't say a word. And he was so happy. Hey, Snacks, when y'all start talking about how we should take over the Dandy Dozen, he didn't hear Dandy, he heard dozen. And he thought we were talking about a dozen of donuts. That's the only thing he excited about, a damn dozen of donuts. Everybody just shut up and let me talk for the next couple of minutes. Boy, you sound absolutely ridiculous, man. I am so disappointed in you. This got to be your worst.
Man, I'm finna come at your neck then. I want to hear your list. I'm coming at your neck.
First of all, let me just go through
Hold on, Eddie. My 9 locks. Was them locks or not?
Go over your 9 locks again, real quick. You got
Anaja Carey, Jay Rooker, Tootie Lockett, Nicole Satterford, Macy Pfeiffer, Taylor Felton, Sanaa Cook, Alana Rouser, Demaya Porter. Them 9 locks.
I agree with everything except Sanaa Cook being a lock. I don't think Sanaa Cook
I'm finna go home. I'm finna leave, y'all. I'll see y'all later.
I don't agree with Sanaa Cook being a lock. I like Sanaa Cook.
She won state championship. She 3A Miss Basketball. How?
Let me finish. All right, Mississippi's going to classification of 6A now, or 7A, right? We're going from 6A to 7A. 2A and 3A basketball, no disrespect to it, but a lot. I'm gonna be just completely honest with you, y'all. You know, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. The Mississippi, North Mississippi, and South Mississippi. Really, to be honest with you, the whole entire state of Mississippi, those small classifications basketball is not really good. I'm just gonna be some of those teams that Sanaa Cook was playing against. No disrespect to those particular teams, but let's just keep it real. Some of those teams look like junior varsity teams. Now, so Sanaa Cook, I think, is a really good prospect. Yeah, she's 3A Miss Basketball. I think she's a phenomenal basketball player. But to say that she's a lock right now, Cord, I wouldn't go that far. I think that she definitely should be considered for the list, but I'm not saying she's a lock. I do agree with everybody else that you said. That's a lock on that particular list. I do want to add to what you said. Demaya Porter, Macy Pfeiffer, Taylor Felton, Nicole Sanderford, Nasia Carrier, Tootie Lockett, Alana Rouser, and then I want to add Jakira Ducksworth from West Jones too. That's a kid that I think we're forgetting about. You got to understand, she won a state championship. She was the 5A, not 2A, not 3A, not 4A. She was a 5A player of the game. I think she had damn near 30 points, had about 10, 11 rebounds, several assists, several steals. I mean, she did it all. I think she's a kid that's being overlooked and I think is deserving of being on that list. And Johanna JoJo Wilson, in my opinion, I dubbed her. I think her and Taylor Felton are the 2 best point guards in the state, mano a mano. I like JoJo just because JoJo is more vocal. She's a leader. If you're going in the alley, I want JoJo on my team because she gonna give you everything she got. She's tough. To me, she's heads and tails above every other point guard in the state of Mississippi because she's gonna give it to you every single night, and you know what you're getting. So Johanna Wilson will be on there, and then I also I do agree with you with Cook. I think Cook is more towards the bottom of that list, and then Big Z from Star.
So she a lock. What we talking about?
No. I don't think that she. I think she's more. I think she's more teetering towards the bubble, though, Cord. That's what I'm saying. I think she's teetering towards the back of the list.
But bubble. She's on your list, right? She's on your list.
She's on my list. Yeah, she's on my list. Yeah, she's on my list. She's on my list.
My hands are up.
I think Big Z is one too. Big Z from Starkville. I think she's a definitely bona fide Division I player that really had a tremendous summer this year. I think her best basketball is ahead of her. And once we get into the team rankings, I think Starkville is going to be the top team in the state with her and Tootie Lockett and all of them. So I think they're going to be it's going to be really good for her. They got the sophomore sensation Jada Gay. So they got a really good team. I also would just consider. I don't like to really give a lot of I know Snack said about giving some of the younger kids. I know there's some really young talent. We'll talk about the 2027 class later, but there's some names that I'm just going to throw out that's going to feature Dandy Dozens that's I think that are going to be really good. 6'4" kid.
Before you do, Eddie, let me just count yours. Let's get your 12 out the way first. You got a Nasia Carey, Taylor Felton, that's 2. Alana Rousers 3. Tootie Lockett 4. Macy Pfeiffer 5. Demaya Porter 6. Sanaya Cook 7. JoJo 8. Jakira Duckworth 9. Big Z 10. Who's your other two?
So I got Sanaya Cook.
I mentioned, I already called him.
All right, did you? So I got Angel Mitchell too. I got Angel Mitchell.
That's 11.
Yeah.
Did y'all pick that girl from Holmes County?
That's what we're talking about. Angel Mitchell. Yeah, Angel Mitchell.
She on both our lists.
So you
Angel
got
Mitchell.
one more.
Her body of work, Angel Mitchell, and then I just think it's a toss up between Did you go back over it again? Let me go back over it again, okay?
Anasia Carrion,
yeah.
Taylor Felton, Alana Rouser, Tootie Lockett, Macy Pfeiffer, Angel Mitchell, Demaya Porter, Sanaya Cook, JoJo, Jakira Duckworth, Big Z.
He said Nicole Satterfield too.
Oh, did
Nicole's,
he?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's your 12. That's your 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Because he said I only had 8 locks. 8, I ain't had 9.
10, 11, 12. So you got 12. Okay.
And Boonville will probably beat West Jones too. So
not last year. Nah, they got blew out last year. They got blew out last year.
They would have got beat by 80. They would have got beat by 80.
It'd been a blowout. Yeah, it'd been a blowout.
Got beat by 80.
All right. He said West Jones will beat Boonville by 80.
Hey, West Jones got a lot.
That what Talante said. West Jones
last year it'd have been a bloodbath. It'd have been a massacre last year. But I'm gonna tell you, it'd been a slaughter. But I'm gonna tell you, West Jones gonna be good this year too. West Jones got a really, really good group of 5 or 6 8th graders that are freshmen this year. Those kids have been winning since 7th grade. They actually moved them up, I think, 9th grade, and they dominated a lot of those kids. They didn't get a chance to play because I think they moved them up varsity. They might have got state championship rings, but they didn't get a chance to play because of those seniors. But they got a good group of scrappy kids, and Duckworth she's a phenomenal player. And again, I want to be clear, so I don't want the Cooks mad at me. I don't want nobody mad at Eddie Young. I think Sanaya Cook is a great player. I just don't agree with Core right now. I think it's a little bit too premature to put her in the class of the top kids. The top of the top. I think she's right there at the bottom of the list, but I do believe that she's deserving of the Dandy Dozen. And I do stand on the 2A, 1A, 3A basketball in the state of Mississippi is absolutely horrific. It's horrible.
So now Eddie, because you mentioned that, do you have the same thought process with Ingomar, at 1A? Do you have the same?
I do. It's terrible.
They have beaten some, but they have beaten. I want to say
they beat a really good Horn Lake team last year.
I'm agree with you. I'm agree with you, Eddie, in a sense like the girl basketball maybe, but like 1A through 3A boy basketball, they pretty good.
Compared to the way 5A say. I mean, the way 5A 6A sell made most nights.
Man,
other than Boonville, ain't nobody in 3A on down.
Last year, Nelson and Amory would have beat. Last year, Amory and Nelson would have beat 5A, 6A teams on any night. I mean, you gotta think it's only 2-3 top teams in every division. It ain't like these guys. Okay, you got to think on all these teams. It ain't like that. We got like super scholar players. Like most of them got JUCOs. 3A got JUCO guys. 5A got JUCO guys. They all the same level. If we being honest.
There are a few 3As. I'll give you the top 3As. Some of the top 3As are okay. But when you get past the top 3rd, top 4th for 3A, and you may have a wild card 2A team every now and then, but most of the 1A, 2A, and most of the 3As are not very. They are athletes. They're not basketball players. They're playing with athletes, not basketball players.
That's every level.
Have you watched that 1A, 2A, 3A All-Star game? That thing is garbage. 1A, 2A, 3A All-Star game is garbage. That's the worst thing we ever came up with in the state. We participation trophies. We giving them kids participation trophies playing that 1A, 2A, 3A game. I don't care who get mad at me. That's what that 1A, 2A, 3A game is. A participation trophy. What it is. 1A, 2A, 3A game is most years is garbage.
Hey,
I want one or two, and then what I hate about it is you get kids like Simmons locked in, and he can't play against the top level talent because he got to play in that crap game. That's what I hate about the 1A, 2A, 3A game. You get a kid like Simmons that's locked into the 1A, 2A, 3A game, and he can't play against real talent because he got to play crappy game.
Hey, I want to say this though.
Man, talk that talk shoes, man. Make them folks big, man.
Hey, I just want to say this before EV say his list. I agree with your shoes. The basketball is bad in some of those classifications. But there are some teams like the Ingomar EV, who you alluded to, Boonville. Those teams are really good. They're well coached. But the competition, so what Eddie Young is saying, the competition that they're playing. See, Cordarius is real sneaky. That's my boy, but now what he'll do is he'll twist that thing. What I'm saying is the competition level that Sanaya Cook is facing night in and night out is not like the competition that some of the top teams are facing.
I ain't saying that.
I will say this though, Eddie. I do think you find more cross division matchups in girls ball than you do in boys ball. You do those smaller level, high level, smaller schools do tend to find matchups against bigger schools where they can kind of prove themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Now they ain't playing a full schedule of it, but I do think you get a few more cross division games in girls ball than you do in boys ball.
Cause Ingomar and Bakersfield, they was really, really good 1A teams like you know what I'm saying? They were really, really good.
Very good.
Ingomar beat. I mean, I ain't trying to keep saying it, but Ingomar beat Horn Lake last year with Division I players on the court.
But
they got a Division I player.
They play 30 more. But after they beat Horn Lake and beat one or two of the other teams, they're playing the other 20 teams. So what happens is a lot of those kids statistically can get their numbers because, yeah, that's right. They play the Horn Lakes, and the Horn Lakes is a good game, and the Ingomars and the Biggervilles, they can beat a lot of those teams. But where a lot of those kids get their numbers at is then when they go play these teams that can't even get the ball past half court, and you got a bunch of girls that don't even know how to inbound the basketball. And so that's the thing that I'm saying. So, but
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be with shoes on this. That 1A, 3A last year, and girls, I ain't even gonna say nothing. It was bad. It was bad because you find a lot of people that's on the other teams that just can't play basketball the way. Now the top, they got some talent in it, but when you go down the list, it get ugly. You know, so.
And you know, here's the thing, and for those of you who are thinking that we're bashing, it's not bashing, it's just a matter of, it's just a matter of opinion. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I always tell you the proof of the pudding is in the eating and, in the tasting. So at the end of the day, prove us, you have a chance to prove us wrong by playing some of those, bigger schools. I don't know very much about the 1A, 2A. I just know a couple. I know Talante's up that way, so he sees more of them than I do.
We bringing excitement this year to the show. We
that's it.
Everything. We doing everything.
I love it. Well, let me give you my.
I'm finna get on EV.
I'm gonna record with EV. The new self-made division, another participation trophy. It's a waste of time. It was a bunch of junk. It was good for football, but it's a waste of time and a bunch of junk also. It's a participation, creating another participation trophy.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. I agree with you 1,000%.
Another freaking participation.
They got to put it on social media, Shoes, they got to put it on social media that they made the team. Now. Come on now. They got to put something on social media now.
Now, what was that? I didn't hear. Shoes, you was kind of breaking up. What was you saying was a participation?
I said new 7A division, creating the 7A division is not enough participation trophy. It's a waste. It was no need for it. I don't care how many ADs or coaches or MHSA high-ups want it. It was a waste of freaking time. They did them but watered down the division.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They did 24 teams.
You heard it.
You
heard it here.
24 teams, right?
It's a waste.
Participation trophy. That's all it is.
Terrible.
We the participation trophy. We love giving participation trophies in this state.
Lead the participation trophies to Mississippi Play Sports. Shout out to Mississippi Play Sports, the greatest youth basketball league in the country. We're getting ready to tip off tomorrow. I'm excited about it. To all of the people. Well, anyway, we ain't gonna go there. Go ahead, Evie.
All right. Well, here's my list, my dandy. For here, I'm gonna give you those who just missed the cut. For me, you know, I don't think always necessarily the 12 best players make it. I think that, you know, when I look at the dandy dozen, which will be different than when I do the rankings next week. The rankings will be more on college, potential. You know, that's going to be pretty much my number one criteria. That's not what I believe the dandy dozen is. I think your high school, regardless of what level you play at, has to matter. And so for me, the ones just missed the cut. Obviously, for me, the big 6'4" kid from Biloxi, Zanaya Johnson. She's a young lady. I can't argue. You know, you're talking about a kid that's probably going to be in the 2027 class. She's going to probably be a top 10 national player. And she doesn't have the high school stats yet, but she's going to be a kid that when it's all said and done, she'd probably be a 3-year dandy dozen kid. Another kid from Forest Hill. You can't argue about her numbers, kind of. But she's just on the edge for me. Kalaya Stovall from Forest Hill. She's put up numbers, love her game. She's put up numbers ever since she was at Wingfield. She's right there. It was almost like, man, but I do value winning as far as your school, getting your school. I believe in the dandy dozen. I do believe that matters in getting to, potentially the big house. Another one for me, Fran Kelly. Fran Kelly is was my number one kid in the 2026 class. Who has a high major offer along Mississippi State and Southern Miss. She put up very good numbers for a freshman. If you average 11 points a game, 4 assists, 4 steals, that's good numbers for a freshman. And so she just missed my list. And then Nyla Hooten coming over from Hartfield, going to Northwest Ranking, is a kid. And then I agree with you, Eddie. This young lady just missed my list too, is Jakira Duckworth, who had a very good year at West Jones. She did win the 5A state champions, and it's like, but in my head, I just, she just missed my list. And then Big Z from Starkville missed my list, just missed it, and it's strictly a numbers game for me. I kind of went a little bit more with the seniors, and then the few juniors that I had, happened to be it. So here's mine. An Asia Carey kid, got Auburn, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, 6'4" wing, says enough. She just visited Memphis. No brainer to me. Taylor Felton, who's committed to ULM, one of the few 3-year dandy dozens, and she was fortunate to get on her sophomore year. Really, you can argue it could have been a 2-year, but she made it. She's a 3-year dandy, so it doesn't matter. She's been a starter since she was a freshman. She's a game changer at the point guard. Alana Rouser, you're talking about one of the most glaring mistakes that they made last year was not having Alana Rouser on the dandy dozen. She should easily be a 2-time dandy. She's averaged a double-double since she's been in high school, going to Florida Atlantic. Love Alana Rouser. She's a kid that, as a college coach, I would love to coach because she plays so hard and she's got a motor, and that's a skill nowadays. Another kid that I really like a lot, and she doesn't have a Division I offer at this point. I offered her when she was at Valley, and if I was still at Valley, she'd be playing for me. It's Tootie Lockett. Tootie Lockett is one of the best scorers in the state. She scored over 20-some points a game in Noxubee County, and she's headed to Starkville, who I think Starkville is really good. And next week we'll talk about the teams, and that Starkville is going to be really good. And I think she's going to be a big time pickup for them. Another young lady who should have made it last year, even though she played in the 1A division, she's continued to get better. She's had a great summer. It's Macy Pfeiffer from Ingomar. I'm a big fan of Macy Pfeiffer. I had her 2 last year in my 2025 rankings, and you can only go up, and we'll see where she'll be ranked next week. She's had a phenomenal year. I really respect her game, and I've watched her since her freshman year. She's really improved as a basketball player. Next young lady from Holmes County, Angel Mitchell. She's just a bucket getter. She scores the basketball at a high level in high school. She had a very good summer for the Mississippi All-In MTP team, where she really put up numbers this summer. She averaged, I think that when she had to, she's a combo guard, and when she plays off the ball, and I think she benefited this year, this summer playing with Taylor, she just, like, when she's got another person, she can really, really score the basketball. The other young lady going to Southern, 6'3" kid, Demaya Porter, long, rangy, athletic. I think her best basketball is ahead of her, has several offers, ended up committing to Southern. Nicole Sandifer from McGee, love her, 5'9", athletic, long arms. Grambling, she's a kid that had a phenomenal summer. Once Southern offered her, I think her recruiting just ran its course in the SWAC. Everybody in the SWAC wanted her, and I think she's going to be a good player. Jade Rucker, 6'1" kid from Tupelo, got hurt, didn't play last year, but she was a dandy last year. I can't punish her and take her off. I think she has a bright future. She's got Mississippi, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. She had Memphis. She had, several other, SEMO, just different offers. She's got probably 7, 8 offers. She's athletic. Depending on how she bounces back, she'll be able to lead Tupelo again. And then I have Sanaya Cook, 3A Miss Basketball, 18-10. At the end of the day, I've watched, her numbers. She just edged out for me, Big Z, because of her numbers in high school, and she won a state championship. And at the end of the day, that matters. I know it's 3A, and I believe, those are two big kids and they're both top 5 kids in my rankings last year. And then the two final kids for me, I absolutely love them. Me being a point guard, I think these two kids, I haven't.
You shot every ball you had. You ain't no point guard.
Yeah, no, you didn't see me play.
You shot every ball in your hand. You ain't no point guard.
I was an elite. I wasn't just, I didn't want to get talking about me, but you brought it up. I was an elite passer. I just wasn't I was a point guard. I was an elite point guard. But anyway, we're not talking about me. But there's a kid from Belmont. I love Carly Brock. I'm a big Carly Brock fan. Just a flat out dog. Just plays super hard. Belmont, she's been to several Final Fours, maybe even won a championship with Belmont. I'm not sure if I think she won one her freshman year. If she didn't, I know they were runner up. Carly Brock. For me in the rankings last year, I had these two young ladies tied, and the other one is JoJo Wilson, Johanna Wilson out of Callaway. For me, those are my final two. And I can't say, it's hard for me to separate them. I saw them play this summer, and the numbers were almost identical when they played this summer head to head. Carly Brock's team did get the wins on both of those times, but when they went head to head, the numbers were, I think one game Carly had 22 and 3, and JoJo had 19 and 4. I mean, they were just like, it was a heavyweight battle. And so for me, I just love both of those kids. And those are my 12. And I just think that, it's going to be very interesting to see, because like I said, we don't have anything to do with the Dandy. We just gave our 12, our opinions, and the ones that, we didn't mention, there's nothing personal. It's just at the end of the day, that's what we feel that who's going to make, and part of this is prediction. That's who we think is going to make it. We'll see if that's the case, because I guarantee you there's probably going to be a kid that was not mentioned here tonight that that everybody's going to be like, oh, we didn't think about it. They do that every year.
I mean, you still got, it's still a little politics that go into it too. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's not sugarcoat it. Let's be honest now. So it's still going to be some people that be like, oh, how they get on there? But, it is what it is.
Well, again, I appreciate, listen, you guys, we have, at the end of the day, man, we've gone, man. I tell you, it's, we get on here talking, man. I try to say, man, and that's why we're going to break it up. We've gone right at 2 hours. Next week, we'll have the boys and girls show. So we'll go about an hour a piece. But before we go, we definitely want to give our final geeks of the night. And so as we get ready to close, let's start with I don't know if Snack's still on, but we'll go with Cordarius. Let's get your final geek of the night.
Yeah, I'm just ready for the season. Just see how how the matchups go. It's a very good matchup early in the season. I want to look at. And hey, this show gonna be a little spicy this year. I'm coming at everybody next. Evie, Eddie Young. I see you down there smiling. Whoever else. Talante want to chime in time. I'm coming at him. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Okay, Cord, I like that. Cord getting out of his shell, say he coming at our next this year. Okay,
All I want to say this, Evie. See, if they could be a fly on the wall while we talking on the phone, we probably had the #1 show in America. You know that?
Why we gotta be on the phone?
Hey, shoot, you got to be a little PG-13 on it.
Oh, okay, I understand. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying now.
T-Web, go ahead, give us your final geek of the night.
I think it was a great show. Like they said, we gearing up for a big season. I'm excited to cover a lot of basketball this year. I'm glad I have more time to do that this year. Like I said, man, don't take it personal. It's not personal. If you feel like we disrespected you, quote unquote, I mean, go out there and prove it. You know what I'm saying? The season started tomorrow. You know, I think most official practices do start tomorrow. I know for MHSAA, I'm not sure about MAIS, but guys, get to it. Always bring your best foot forward. You know what I'm saying? Work hard, man. Just come out there and hoop and just enjoy it. And like we said, we're going to be talking about it. So, you know what I'm saying? If you want to get on here, if you feel like we didn't, you know what I'm saying, mention you in the correct way that you might like, I mean, when the season started, prove it, and we might have you on the show one day, so you can back it up there on the court and on here. So,
all right, the easy one. Go ahead, easy one.
Man, listen, great show tonight. I'm excited, like you guys said, about the upcoming season. I think it's gonna be really, really good. We got some super, super talent on the boys and girls side. I think it's a lot of parity in all of the classes this year too, where there's some classifications that are wide open, where I think anybody can win a state championship. I think probably the one lock is Starkville. Well, I won't say lock. Starkville, Tupelo, and Harrison Central are kind of the big three in the top classification, but everything else is going to be really exciting and really fun. So I think it's going to be a good year. And I'm just ready to get out there and recruit and do what we do and get a chance to see some really good basketball. And my last gig, this going to be my new hashtag. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You got me now? No, Mississippi All In, just want to throw it out there. We still run a SIP. That's my last gig. That's my new hashtag too. You know, starting tomorrow, everything I'm tagging. Just so you'll know, Mississippi All In, we run a SIP. Good show, man. Y'all be blessed. Have a good night. And until we back on next Sunday, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Snack.
Well, like I say, feel good to be back on the show. Feel good to, you know what I'm saying, I had a roundtable discussion with the guys about, of course, Dan the Dozens and, the teams that we're going to see this year. Like I say, look forward to seeing these teams kind of get to it. Of course, we about a few weeks before the season, so I'm excited to see some teams and some matchups. So I think it's going to be a good year for Mississippi basketball.
Shoes.
All right. Hey, like everybody else say, just ready for the season to get started. Look forward to watching the action. This year, more than any other, is a smorgasbord of teams. I mean, we're going to talk about in the future the team rankings, but it's 6, 7, 8 teams that, ain't a lot of difference between. I don't care if we end up ranking them in the preseason. I don't expect anybody to go unblemished or go with no, just untouched. I think this is going to be a really, really competitive season, especially because throughout the teams that are near the top of the state. I look forward to just being ready to watch the action. And as far as all these lists we're talking about, I always, what I always said, my middle name is Motivator. So if you don't like the list, if you're mad because you wasn't on there, then use it as motivation. My middle name is Motivator.
Shoes Motivator. We ought to start calling you Motivator. Listen, we appreciate everybody. Everybody's jumping in. Next week, I just want to talk about next week. Big show. We're going to split up into two. Next week, the Motivator Shoes, Talante and Snacks are going to be talking about their best top 15 teams, along with myself. We'll talk about that. So the top 15 teams, and then we'll break off. And then at 8 o'clock, that'll be at 7 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock, we'll do the long and much anticipated Geekers Girl rankings for this year. Like I said earlier, when Eddie wasn't on, Eddie at Mississippi Play Sports did that for years. My hat's off to him. And for those of you who never done, you complain about the rankings or this, that, or the other, I encourage you to try, because I do believe that the people on this show here reach everywhere in the state, along with some other guys like my man K. Cole down in the Gulf Coast and Gabe Barber down on the Gulf Coast as well. And we touch a little bit of everybody, and we welcome. I'll be reaching out to. My goal is to reach out to every high school coach this year, and I will say this. I put this out on Twitter, and I'll put this here. My list I haven't finalized it yet. If you want to, if I hadn't seen you play, young ladies, DM me, give me some highlights. I trust my eyes. I have a bunch of people out there, high school coaches, Eddie Young, Cordarius, Gabe, a lot of different people across the state that I talk to, high school coaches up north, everywhere. But these guys will tell you, if I see somebody and I like them, it don't matter what they think, because it's got the Geekers Girl ranking on. It don't mean nothing. I'm a type of person, but if a million people believe in a dumb idea, it's still a dumb idea to me. I don't get caught up in the hype, in what everybody else is saying. I'm kind of like
all about the hype.
All about hype. Hughes got his rankings too. I'm gonna go at him on a couple, because I seen a couple of the boys, and we're gonna talk about that. And at the end of the day, it's it's just our opinion, and we like to have a little fun. And so again, thank.
Hey, hold on. Let me say one thing, Evie, before we get off. And everything that involve rankings and all that type of stuff, you gotta be in the building of the guy that's doing the ranking. So if you don't go to events, if you don't be in certain spots where you need to be at, don't expect always to be able to be ranked a certain number that he ain't see you. He ain't see you where you could have paid or could have signed up and been in an event. So don't take it personal. If a person don't see you, they just don't see you. Make sure we see you, because if he the one doing the rankings, you want to be on the list. You need to come to his events. That's all I want to say.
Hey, let me echo. Hold on. Let me echo that. For all the people who have, and you are 1000% right, Lavelle Shoes Johnson, everybody who has something to say about shoes and where this person should be ranked this place, this person should be ranked that place. At the end of the day, it's his opinion. If he ain't seen you, if you hadn't got an opportunity to come, because a lot of these coaches don't play in certain events. A guy like Shoes are going to the big showcase tournaments, the big, he's going to be at the Rumble. He's going to be at some of these big places. If your kids aren't there and they're not getting an opportunity to be seen, then that's not always on him. So, and for the events and the camps that he's at, that he's attended, and obviously EV, his Geeker Combine, how dare you not come to attend that, especially if you're a local person. That's just a shame on you, especially for what these guys are charging. They are the two biggest voices on the girls' side and the boys' side of the state of Mississippi right now. And I know both of them work really hard behind the scene, and their voices go beyond what a lot of people really know. And their voices are very, very valuable to these college coaches. So for anybody to underestimate that, they hadn't been on the phone. I've been on the phone and I've been around these guys, and I understand how important and how valuable they are for our Mississippi kids who are already behind the 8 ball. Back to our regular schedule program.
Well, I
feel bad after saying that.
Appreciate you all, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we do appreciate that, man. because the Bible says, let another man praise you. And sometimes it does come off, you hate to toot your own horn. But it's unfortunate. Sometimes you have to give your resume. And again, everybody that knows me and has been around and spent time with me, hey, if it was up to me, man, we all just be all on the same page. We all get along. It's enough for everybody. Unfortunately, everybody doesn't think that way. And so it is what it is. And so we have to, do what we have to do. But I encourage, everybody to, I hope you have a great week this week. I'm excited about where Talking Hoops and the SIP is going. Again, shout out to Tunde Wade, Tatum and Wade Law Firm, located again 124 East of Meade Street, right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Real lawyers who get real serious lawyers who get real serious lawyers who get serious results. Real lawyers who get real results. But I say, if you want to get paid, go to Tatum and Wade. And for Thomas Snacks Lee, Eddie Young, Shoes, Cordarius Jones, Delonte Weber, I'm Coach EV, the Geeker, saying good evening, good night,